Patura last night. Now, I didn't review the campsite, and I'm not going to say anything about it because I don't want to give bad raps. Not that it'd be a bad rap, but it'd be an average rap. You know, it wasn't up to scratch, basically, in my opinion. Not for the price. You know, I've had much better sites for $8 a night. Anyway, that's enough of that. So Fowlers Bay today, 280k. Should be there in just under 3 hours. You know the current pace. The normal 95k an hour that I'm running with now. And I'll give that a bit of a review. What's the weather? Oh, look at that, a beautiful 22 degrees at midday. As we get close to the coast, there's a bit of a breeze coming, looks like a bit of sea breeze coming in. We're in West Australia, sitting on the front veranda when we pop, and that sea breeze would come through and go, here comes the Fremantle doctor. No idea why they gave it that name, but that's what they used to call it. So, parked the camper. Nice caravan park for a beachside caravan park, actually. Amenities are nice and tidy. Yeah, I was lucky to get in. I booked for 3 nights, actually. We're going to have a bit of a rest. The fishing's good here, but there's a fair bit to see. Got the big sand dunes, old whaling station along the way. You can, I think you can drive part of the way and then. Alright guys, the old fella. Old fella's travels. Mike. So this is Fowlers Bay. Really nice spot. I suppose not if you're a swimmer or such, but it's a really nice spot. Fishing's pretty good apparently. At the right time, the right place, like anything. Marsh flies can be a little bit ordinary, but not so bad to drive you away. Kill the odd marsh fly, they're not that bad really. Worse the closer you get to the water, but they're not too bad in the park. It's only a small community town, but well, it's more of a coastal holiday point now, I suppose, but there's a lot of history behind it, from whaling right through to you know, the township and the reason behind the hall and such. It was another location that was discovered in the earlier days, back when they were mapping the coasts. It's the entry to the caravan park. The caravan park is a really nice little caravan park actually. Good facilities, not overly expensive. Unpowered site for me, and they're nice sites. For me it was $20 a night, $60 for 3 nights, which in comparison, when you compare the facilities and you're right on the coast and there's a bit to see, these massive sand dunes, reminds me of Lancelin to a degree in WA, but I'll be taking a drive up to the top tomorrow. You can get up there with your vehicle by the looks of it. I'll take a bit of a drive out tomorrow and we'll have a walk around and I'll take some footage of that. But it's a beautiful piece of coastline, Fowlers Bay. They've got this jetty here that we'll take a stroll out on. There's one problem with that sign. Oh, dogs on leash only. I could have brought me dog. I thought it said no dogs. Dogs on leash only. Oh, I could have brought Barnes for a walk. I'll bring him out for a walk in the morning. Hopefully he won't try and jump over the edge. But a bit of a breeze blowing in. It's a very long jetty. I think it said on that sign, I just didn't read it. But few people fishing off here. You see him with a few crab pots out actually, and I thought, oh, they must be getting some crabs, but the lady in the shop, in the kiosk that does all the bookings, looks after caravan park, said that the squid are so big here that they use crab pots to catch them. So there you go. But beautiful, clean, clear water down there. It's high tide. It's coming up to high tide at the moment, so it looks like the beach is nothing but weed, but that's not really the case. That's just the high tide line, where there must be a lot of this weed that washes up, no doubt, you know, from a few storms or whatever. When the tide's out, there'd be a good 20 or 30 foot of beach exposed, and that's when I took Barney for it. Barney just loves it. Even run on the beach, he just goes nuts. He runs so ragged, I have to turn around and bring him back, otherwise he'd run himself till he dropped. But he loves running on the beach in a bit of water. Same at the other side. High tide, you can only walk across the weed around there, but you can walk along the beach and actually into the sandhills down there. You can drive along the beach in low tide if you're game and you know what you're doing. That won't be me, but they do have a sign there saying that it's a flood bog risk. So basically, if you get stuck, sooner or later that tide's going to come in, and we all know how that ends. So you can see the weed on the bottom here. It's clear up to the shore, but so I imagine that weed must let go at some stage. There's a lot of weed down and around the place, and it looks like it's pretty weedy all the way out for some. There's patches down there, the water's getting a bit darker, purely and simply because you know, the depth, I imagine. But it's been windy the whole time I've been here. The only time we didn't have a great deal of wind, and it's probably been picked up on the camera, was yesterday afternoon. So wind and this fine dusty sand reminds you have to keep everything closed up, because the dust and that'll just get in. The old laptop, I've been doing the best I can to keep that clean and tidy, but this fine dust, it's so fine actually that it's getting through the midgie. I was really surprised, but it's actually, the dust is so fine that when I suck it up with a little handheld vacuum cleaner, it gets through that filter and comes out the back. It's so fine, and it actually gets through the with the wind behind, it actually gets through the midgie mesh on the camper. That's how fine it is. Like the Pilbara, like the iron ore country, that dust gets that fine that when it gets in, you can't get it out of nothing. You can always tell a car that's been up north. Just have a good look in the cracks and you'll see the red dust in there. So quite a nice walk out the edge of the jetty. The wind's blowing a bit. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to blow. You'd want to pay attention to yourself. If you had a hold of something that picked up wind, she'd take you overboard. That'd be ordinary. There's only one way to go. Geez, I reckon one time I could swim that distance, not raise a sweat, but these days I reckon I'd drown before I got back in there. My lungs aren't what they used to be. I had a few lung issues, and that aren't getting any better, but that's another story. And I'd be out of wind by the time I got anywhere near shore. This must be a big mooring here. Oh, this would be the mooring for the whale watching boat, which I think runs from May to October or something. So that's where that would moor up. Okay, there's some people fishing out here at the end of the jetty. I'll turn the camera off once we get up there so I don't upset anyone. But we're going to see if it's doing any good. Well, just talking to the fellas out there fishing, they said they've been here, I think they said they've been here a week. They're staying in a house. Everyone's complaining about the March flies, but this place got nothing on it. Till Delta Rock, I tell you, the March flies here carry you away. Well, you're killing 3 in one swipe, you another 3 on the other side of your leg biting you. They're bloody terrible. Even on the walk, they're lashing on you. So they're not so bad here. You might, I'd say if you sit down, I might kill, you know, 4 or 5 over a period of, you know, 10 minutes, but they tend to come in swarms a bit. This breeze has been really constant. Apparently for the fishing, as far as weather goes and the marsh flies goes, going to say that is it's not the time of year to be here, but it's still a tick in the box as far as I'm concerned. It's a beautiful piece of coastline. We'll go and have a look at those sand hills tomorrow. I'll take a drive up where the sand stays pretty firm. It gets a bit softer around parts, so I'm not in the interest of getting myself stuck. That's too much hard work. But you can drive up pretty much to the top of the sand dunes there, and I'll just park off to the side. I might park myself on the max tracks just so she doesn't sink while I'm off having a walk, and we'll see how we go. But nice little spot, Fowlers Bay. If you're heading along, it's only 25k drive off the air highway. It's not far in. The road's pretty good. There's only a little bit of corrugations, but I run them across at about 70 kilometres an hour, and hardly noticeable. So they're not bad corrugations. They have wood-fired pizzas here. I'm going to give them a crack tomorrow night. Been me last night. I think it's some nice areas to sit along here. The weather has been beautiful. 24, 26 degrees. I think only about 23 degrees today. It's superb. It's just that wind. It's more like an afternoon sea breeze, but it's here 24/7. And if I was to come here again, I wouldn't come here at this time of the year. Oh, let's have a look and see what we can catch here. King George whiting. Wow. I'll be catching some of those when I get to WA, the old King George, down at Augusta. Well, what do you know? What do you know? Well, good spot, I like it. Tidy little town, very friendly. Doesn't seem to be too troublesome. Wood fire pizzas over there, kiosk with all the supplies and everything. There's cabins here, but there's no vacancies, obviously. They must be booked out all year round, I'd say. It's got the monument up here that explains the founding of this location. We'll go and have a quick look, whack it on the video, and you can have a read for yourself. But Australia's unique, I think, in its discoveries. So let's have a quick look, eh? So what does it say here? Oh, I don't know whether you're going to be able to see that with me shadow and all in there. So I'll give it a read. Matthew Flinders, Royal Navy, 1774 to 1814. Commander of HM Sloop, investigator. On the 20th January 1802, named Fowlers Bay and Point Fowler after his first lieutenant, Robert Fowler, and Cape Newts after Peter Newts of the Golden Zeepard. The coastline was discovered by Newts in 1627, unveiled 11th of October 1948. That would be the plaque, I would say. So over here, probably not much good reading that too, but it did say in 1774 Matthew Flinders was born in Lancashire, England, on the 16th of March 1774. There's a gee, she'd be hard going around here in those days. Voyages of Flinders, 1801 to 2. He circumnavigated the south from about Augusta in West Australia across through the Great Australian Bight around to Sydney. And in 1802 to 1803 he circumnavigated the entire coastline of Australia. She'd be hard times. So 1803, on the 19th of June 1803, Flinders arrived in Sydney after circumnavigating Australia and charting the Gulf of Carpentaria. In July 1814, this monumental work, A Voyage to Terra Australis, was published. He died the very next day, aged 40. Oh jeez, must have been hard going on the seas. Flinders gave Australia his name, the name being first used in 1817 instead of New Holland by Governor Lachlan Macquarie. And that was in 2003 when a replica of the Investigator visited Fowlers Bay for a reenactment of the epic voyage exploration. Unreal. I love this sort of stuff. Oh, and there's a Fowlers Bay storekeeper's receipt there from the 15th of March 1930. No, 1950, I believe that would be. Wow. Is that right? No, it is 1930 because there's another one there for a shop that was here. The 1st of September 1930. I'll be damned. The first business to be established. Well, there you go, guys. That is Fowlers Bay. Tomorrow, the sand dunes. Oh, the fellas have given up. They're walking back off the jetty. Didn't do any good. Used the last of their bait. Back to camp. Cook some tea up for me and Barnes. There you go, guys. Stay safe. I've got beers in the fridge again, so feel free to help yourself to one at home. Take it easy, and we'll be looking at those sand dunes tomorrow. They'll be epic. I'll get the drone up as well. See you guys. Well, I made it. I tell you, that sand is, it's like ice. Every time you put your foot in it, it runs away from you like a avalanche. Anyway, worth the effort. Sand dunes run for a long time. I think there's another place along the coast getting back towards Perth. I think they call it Israelite Bay. That is renowned for sand dunes. Excuse the odd flick on the camera. I'm just killing march flies. Keep me alive. Look at that. Massive view from up here. You can see there's a few roads that go nowhere. That road straight across there, heading out from the other side of the little town there, or little community. That's the road in and out. There's another road here that goes down. There's a farm stay I was going to stay at, but I can't fit it in my itinerary now, and meant to be real good down there. And also when you head down that road, there's some they're pretty corrugated, pretty bad tracks, but they run off to other parts of the coast. Apparently there's some really nice beaches down there, but I won't be heading down there at this stage. I'm going to come back when the fishing season's running, and it's not as windy. I reckon, and when the whale watching is on, I want to go out and do a whale watching trip. But geez, you can mistake this for the Sahara Desert. Maybe not. Well, I'm not the only one that's been up here, so I'm not Robinson Crusoe. I've seen a load of people up here before jumping up and down waving something. I'm assuming they had a drone up. But good aspect of the bay from up here. Very nice. Worth the effort. You got to have it. Got to have a look, eh? I'm not that unfit. Geez, I'm 73, but I'm not in retirement. 73. Well, maybe I should be. My brain's going on me. Hang on, rewind. Check that brain back in. I'm 63, going on 74, and I'm still getting along all right, I think. If I can get up on these sand dunes. Crikey Moses. Probably lose 10 kilos of lard. Wouldn't do any harm. You mostly just cut off your head. Cheeky bugger. So the sandhills run out for a bit. They said they're moving all the time, which they are, but when you come up, which they would be, when you come up here in the other day in the wind, you could see them shifting. There was just so much sand blowing off the top and down the sides. The blow-on side's fairly firm. The side they blow off is really soft, and that was a real struggle climbing up that bit of a bank on back there. But where I'm walking here, it's solid as rock. You feel like you could drive a car on it. But early in the morning, the firmer it is, of course, with the dampness. I wouldn't want to be driving up here in the afternoon. Well, I ain't going to drive up here at all. Anyway, that's the sandhills at Fowlers Bay. Let's get the drone up and get an aerial aspect, eh?